Shalom Hebrew Nation na wakwani mwenti mwamugusia seritere Yesu Motodia na wasalamia wote duniani kila pali mlipo, naomba mko salama salmini katika jina la Isa Masia. Okay, so today we're going to discuss about Angel Uriel. Okay, being that Angel Uriel is the angel of fire and light. Okay, so let's go with this thing, angel of fire. Okay, let's go with it. So anyway, in Enoch 20:1-7, it says, these are the names of the angels who watch. Uriel, who we're discussing today, of course. Raphael, I discussed Raphael last week. We have Raguel, we have Michael, we have Serakiel, and we have Gabriel. Okay, so today we're discussing Uriel. All right, here we go. So I'm pretty excited today, I'm pretty excited today to do this Angel Uriel presentation because it is through the key code, the key Bantu code of the Luhya, that will unlock the mystery of the name Uriel. Okay, so today we are unlocking the mystery of the name Uriel using Luhya, Hebrew Bantu language. So if you're Luhya, come on, please have a seat, call your friends. Here we go. So there's 4 people in the Bible called Uriah. Now the difference between Uriah and Uriel is that Uriah ends with an IAH or YA, while Uriel will end with an EL. They all are names of God and properties of God. Okay, so Uriel and Uriah are the same name. Okay, all right. So now we start with the fast prefix or. Okay, or ur. Okay, the root, that's Hebrew. So the root or in Hebrew means to shine, to light or give light. Okay, now ur in Hebrew has a root that has to do with a flame. Okay, still rooted with fire, of course. Okay, and to support this, let's look at a Bible verse that supports the idea that God is a fire, a consuming fire, that one of his important properties is fire. Okay, so let's look in Deuteronomy 9:3. It says, know therefore today that he who goes over before you as a consuming fire is the Lord your God. He will destroy them and subdue them before you. That's Deuteronomy 9:3. Okay, so of course Uriah would basically just mean God is my light, the fiery one of God. There's so many ways you can put it. God is my life force, God is my fire, God is my energy. There's so many ways you can put that. Okay, so and there's roots for the word Uriah would be also there's another root that starts with H-A-R. Okay, and that's where you get the name Aharon. Okay, or Aaron, as Americans would say it, A-A-R-O-N. It means to be enlightened. Okay, of course, right? So it's Aaron. You have Yair, you have Yairas or Jairus, you have Uri, Uriah, and Urim, all rooted in the idea of fire. Of course, I got this from Aburim Publications. Okay. Now, okay, so I told you that Uriel means angel of fire and light, but then we have to find proof. Sometimes you have to approach God as a lawyer. Okay, you have to have your precedent and you have to have your proof. Okay, so here we go. In Enoch 20:2, it says, Uriel, one of the holy angels who presides over clamor and terror. Okay, and I'll tell you what clamor and terror means later. But Enoch 26, specifically, he presides over clamor and terror. And then Enoch 71:1 says he presides over the law of the luminary bodies of the heavens, like the sun, the moon, and the stars. Okay? Now, to understand this further, Uriel is connected to the sons of men, or to men, in regard to the fact that we all have fires within us, okay? So, for you to be able to have a fire within you, I mean, simple proof, okay? In Africa, when we were about to put coconut oil on our heads, because coconut oil gets, lumpy and clumpy, and it I don't know, it's like oil, it comes up together. So for us to melt that oil, we just would put it just near our body, underneath our armpits, or just here, and immediately, it would melt that fat. It would start to melt. Why? Because we have engines within us. We are a reservoir of energy within us. Okay. So by that being said, being that we are all reservoirs and we all get our energy from the Most High, who's the ultimate light, okay, Uriel controls the heavenly bodies. And he controls man's destiny, in the sense that as days and nights unfold, based on the order of the luminary bodies, like the sun and the moon, by that right, Uriel is also concerned with the destiny of man in that regard. So as the day unfolds, or as the heavenly bodies go into rotation and come back to their place, then there's happenings that follow your destiny within that course, should I say. And this is just African social construct, and I would say Hebrew as well. Okay? So by that right, you will even find that in the winter, and this happens to a lot of Africans, okay? A lot of Africans and exchange students, okay, who come here for a while, they do, and it doesn't even happen only with Africans, okay? But I've seen this happen a lot with Africans. They don't even know what's going on, because when you come from a continent that's full of sun, and you come to a continent where there's periods of not clear sun rays, clear sun, burning sun, it does affect your whole countenance, your whole, aura in that sense. That's why some people will get seasonal affective disorder. They'll get bad depression because of the lack of sun, okay? So, but depression, I realize that depression is the number one leading disability in the world, okay? And depression could be the difference between life and death, okay? So if the heavenly bodies don't move according to how Uriel has been commanded to, he could cause chaos, okay? He could cause chaos. There could be problems. And that's why he presides over clamor and terror. If a hydrogen bomb is set out, okay, to the point where it disrupts the heavenly body, Angel Uriel is concerned with this area, okay? Because he's the angel that's concerned with the luminary bodies, okay? Now, anyone who knows me knows that I believe and have always said that the Ekegusii are a lost tribe of Israel, and the Bantus are a lost tribe of Israel, basically. Okay? Now, if you look in the book of Enoch, you will see Enoch being taught basic science, okay, of how months are made into seasons by Angel Uriel. That's his department. So it says on stated months, the moon has 29 days. It also has a period of 28 days. Uriel likewise showed me another regulation when light is poured into the moon, how it is poured into it from the sun. Now, if the Torah or Hebrew is an African language, then the Africans already knew about the oscillation of heavenly bodies and the movement of heavenly bodies and how the moon gets light from the sun. That's why nothing really impresses me anymore, to be honest, about Western education, because a lot of it is stolen and plagiarized. I mean, it's plain to see. Now, we're going to move over to the derivation of the name Uriel using African Hebrew languages, and I'm going to use Yoruba, I'm going to use Zulu, I'm going to use Ekegusii, I'm going to use Luhya, of course, Luhya being the main one here, okay? Now, to be able to understand like how Bible names and how Bible words are coded, you have to understand that whenever we're dealing with an angel, okay, an angel is called malaika in Swahili. But for you to understand what an angel is, okay, you have to understand the root word of where the word angel comes from. Okay, and the Swahili language and the Bantu languages show that the idea of being an angel is derived from the idea of royalty, okay, one royalty, which is also encompassed or encapsulated in the whole idea of being of a higher birth, of a noble birth, okay? Now, and how do we know that angels are of higher birth, okay? Because I have heard people, actually there's some, I think it's crazy, there's crazy doctrines that people preach that we are created a little higher than angels, a little higher than the Elohim. That doesn't make any sense at all to me. There's no way we could be created higher than the Elohim if we don't even see the Elohim, okay? But my reasoning is really of no value. We have to look for proof in the Word of God, okay? So here, let's look at Hebrew, 2nd Hebrew 5 verse 7, and then use the New King James Version. It says, "What is man that you are mindful of him, or the son of man that you have taken care of him? You have made him a little lower than the angels," okay? Note, a little lower than angels, okay? It means that we are also of a noble birth, but angels are just a little higher, okay? Means that angels have noble lives and desires and lusts just like us, okay? But they're higher beings because they already know what's good and bad, not like us. They're not born with sin, okay? So you have made him a little lower than the angels. You have crowned him with glory and honor and set him over the works of your hands, okay? So angels cannot be lower than us. We're just a little lower than them, okay? And as a second proof, I'll show you. In the book of Enoch 15:1-4, this also proves that angels are exalted beings beyond a doubt, okay? Here you go. Enoch 15:1-4. "Fear not, Enoch, thou righteous man and scribe of righteousness. Approach hither and hear my voice, and go and say to the watchers of heaven." Now, the watchers of heaven were those who were angels, and they gave up their first estate. They gave up the heavenly, basically they give up the good life for this life on earth, okay? So God is sending Enoch to tell him, and I've talked about the name of Enoch, okay? The meaning of Enoch means one who moves, or one who travels interdimensionally. I've talked about it, okay, in one of my videos, and I'll put up in the description here. So it says, "Approach hither and hear my voice, and go and say to the watchers of heaven, who have sent thee to intercede for them." You should intercede for men, and not men for you. "Wherefore have ye left the high and holy and eternal heaven, and lain with women and defiled yourselves?" Okay, meaning the minute the angels fell into sin, they realized that they were a little lower now. They realized they were much lower than humans, okay, to the point where they had to solicit a human being to go and intercede for them. And God sends back and says, "I have never had a doctrine where a mortal praise for non-mortals. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense. Okay? That's why it doesn't make sense either for you to worship angels. It doesn't make sense because they're just like you. Okay? Alright, so here we go. Now, the basic derivation for the word malaika in Swahili and Hebrew comes from the Swahili and Hebrew word, okay? Mamlaka. Mamlaka. Mamlaka in Swahili and Hebrew means authority, dominion, reign, power, or a promotion. So when somebody is promoted or given, a high jurisdiction, you say, amepewa mamlaka, meaning they've been promoted, okay? So by that sense, even the idea of promotion, when people die, sometimes I've had people say they've been promoted to a different realm, okay? By that means that you become now a being that doesn't have a physical body. This body can die, it's flesh, okay? But now you've been promoted to a divine being, okay? So angels then would mean that they're not only of a noble birth because they're prince angels, just like you have prince demons like the prince of Persia, okay? So just by the mere fact that you have the word mamlaka malaika means that you have a certain dominion or authority over you, okay? Now, let's look at the word malak in Hebrew and meluka. It means kingship, okay? Kingship. Now, in the Sutu Hebrew language, okay? Sutu, Moloki is a righteous savior, not the name for God, basically, okay? In Hebrew, it would be Melek is a king, same thing, okay? Molokoli in Sutu still is one who saves or liberates, okay? Angels are ministering angels, so in that sense, also they're Molokoli, okay? They can be a kind of exalted being, a kind of Moloki, okay? Now, in Swahili, tamalaki, just from the word malaki, malak, kingship. Tamalaki means an owner, a possessor, a king, a ruler, okay? And this is where the word malaika comes from. Malaika is basically somebody who has a kind of dominion, a kind of rulership that's been mandated upon them, okay? Not just that, they're also of a noble and higher birth, okay? That's why in Swahili, Malkia is a queen, okay? Because again, the idea of a noble so let's now observe the suffix of Uriel or Uriah using Ya and El and how this title of God applies to fire, okay? So you have James 1 verse 7, and I'm using the King James Version. Every good and perfect gift is from above and cometh down from the Father of lights, with whom there is no variableness, neither shadow of turning, okay? Now, if you just roughly look in Bantu language, and I'm going to discuss it again, but let me just show you quickly, okay? Now, good and perfect. In Ekegusii, if something is inanimate, you say ki ya. It ends with ya. If it's a person, you say mu ya, because mu or mo is a prefix for something or someone with a soul. So it means he who has, the property of ya, okay? So that which is new, that which is perfect, ends with ya, of course, because ultimately we're made in God's image, okay? So anything that exists or has a spirit, this is African, I think Hebrew's social construct, has a spirit, and if it has a spirit, it means that it has the essence of God in it, okay? So if you look at the word above, now when you're referring to something, say inanimate, you say eri, like a bird, eri, okay? Eri is also the other name for God. You realize that, okay? And light, okay? The word ta ya in Ekegusii is light, and in Swahili it's ta, okay? okay? So see, it ends with a, ya, ia, okay? To imply light, okay? So let me just give you examples here real quick. So just like I was initially saying that, you know, words that come, you know, words derived from the Bantu language, okay? Words that represent fire, light will end with ya or el, okay? For example, tire, ta, okay? Swahili kisi. One ends with ya, one ends with a. When Taya in Ekegusii is light. It ends with ya. In Swahili, it's ta. It's still rooted in the word ya, okay? Light. Mu ya, just like I talked about, ki ya, ends with ya, meaning good. Ravera is illuminated or fiery, okay? To illuminate a pawn. It ends with era. A pan of the name Eri, okay? Now, in Kinyakusia, and I have to thank my friend Dixon, in Kinyakusia, the word for fire, flame, or illuminate is muli, okay? Look, uli is a pan of eli, okay? Every good and perfect thing comes from God, the Father of light, okay? And he's a consuming fire. So, and then in Zulu, ukakanya, nya, okay? Would imply light or civilization, again rooted in the word ya. Elile in Zulu, okay, the word elile, meaning beauticious, beautiful, gorgeous, good, lovely, okay, still starts with the word el, okay, so everything beautiful, okay, beautiful comes from God. So Bantu is the language of God. We put God in everything. You know, even that which appears to be so silly has the essence of God in it. And that's how we pay homage to the Creator as the creator of all universe. So anybody that's teaching you about African tradition and says that we are atheists is a liar. Please do not go into that madness. Africans have never had a social construct of atheism. That's rebellious and it's stupid. We just never did it. Okay? Our name is not Darwin. So anybody who's telling you about African social construct and is telling you that Africans were atheists is lying. Please walk away from that nonsense. Okay, now, from where the idea of having the root, Hebrew root, which is or, that's rooted in the word fire or flame. There's also har, from where you get the name Ahahron, meaning, you know, air, enlightened one, okay? Now, in Swahili, using the root or, you have the name for the sun, you know, morning, for sunshine, or for light, nuru, okay? Nuru, so the root is or, okay? Then you have in Ekegusii, the word for fire is Muliro. The root is O-R-R, or, right? Just like Hebrew. Then, and this is the interesting part about African languages, okay? African languages, you just don't name things because you can name them, okay? Because this is the language that's written by God, okay? Now, using the root or of fire, okay? Muliro, that's fire in Ekegusii. Now, or, using that root or, okay? When you're calling someone, when you're referring to somebody, say, I'm telling you, that person, I say, Ori, okay? Ori is really a conjugation of the word Eri, L, okay? So Ori is the same thing, still the alphabet, it'll be L, okay? So in African language, when you speak African language, you're speaking a blessing into somebody, okay? It's just not an idle language or a vagabond language. When you speak African languages, you also you pay homage to the Most High. And that's why African languages are languages of life, okay? Without any politics, no politics involved. But I'll talk about the Indo-European languages or Latin rooted languages and how they have like a basis of death in them, okay? But that's another story for another day, okay? So when you call somebody Ori, when you say Ori, you're not only referring to a person, but what you're saying is that he who has Or, the fire of God, which is really a part of the name Eri. So Ori, Eri, meaning that person who has the essence of God. Okay? Because person doesn't mean anything to us. What is a being? It doesn't mean anything to us as Africans, okay? Everything, every word we speak is life, and it pays homage to the Creator. And that's what's different from many Indo-European languages, okay? Now, when you say, oh yeah, when you put an emphasis on where the person is situated, Ori ya. So guess what? You have Ori meaning fire, and you have Ya meaning God. Okay? He who has the essence of Ya in him. Okay? But still, they're both Eri and Ya at the end of the day. Okay? They're both names of God. Then we have the Ekegusii name. So meaning that if you want to say Uriel in Ekegusii, you just say Oria, because Oria means that person. It's not just that person. Oria means somebody that has the essence of God in them. So when you talk about Angel Uriel, you're not just talking about Uriel. It's Uriel was Or in him. Okay. Now we have the Ekegusii name Oeri, he who belongs to air, the air. Okay, it's just a part of the name Uriel, Oeri. Okay, and then if you look in the English language using the root or, the word aura. Okay, aura is a subtly pervasive quality or atmosphere seen as emanating from a person, a place, or a thing. Now remember, for any kind of aura to exist, there has to be a spirit in it. I mean, people talk about auras even on jewelry and stuff, okay? Because everything has an essence. As long as it's been made and has a name, it has an essence, okay? Not necessarily a soul, but an essence, okay? And that's where you also have the root, using or again, Aaron, okay? The name Aaron, okay? And if you take the name Aaron and pig Latinize it, you get Nora. It still means light, okay? So using the root or. Even in the European languages, the formula is the same in some things, but you see Aaron is also a borrowed African name. Alright? Now, okay, in Hebrew, this is interesting, okay? So in Hebrew, when you're referring to God, you say El, okay? But when you're referring to things like these, you say Ele. So it's still rooted in the idea of El, okay? Just what I've been talking about. That everything that exists has an essence, okay? Now, in Ekegusii, Eri is God. But when you're referring to somebody saying him, you say Ere, which is really a pan of the word Eri. So African language is a life language, okay? Eri. So whenever you talk about something, you say Ere, you're still referring to he who has the essence of God, okay? Meaning that human life can never be made by somebody. It's rooted in the Most High, okay? So that's why even when you say Oria, you're also still referring to Yahweh, okay? Now, in Spanish, it's the same thing. You know, in Ekegusii and Hebrew, when you can use El, okay, to refer to God. You can also use the word El to refer to something or someone, okay? Just like in Spanish. L is for L and Ella. You can use them for him, it, things, or an animal. Again, see, even in Spanish, the essence of God, the word L is put even in inanimate and animate things. Okay. Now, in Swahili, in Messiah, when you're referring to they, you say all. All is really again a conjugate of the word El. Okay. Olorun is the name of God in Yoruba. See, it still has all. Okay, rooted in El. Okay. Then, so where you have the idea of Ya in Ekegusii and many Bantu languages, Ya, Ia, Nya, it would refer to of or belonging to or having the traits of something. That's why when you say everything good and perfect comes from God, Ki, Ya, meaning that which, okay, that which has that property of God, that which looks like God, because God is new, God is light, God is perfect. Okay. All right. Okay, so now we're going to use the name Uriel, and I'm going to show you how it's actually derived from the Yoruba language. Okay. Now, the word Ori, O-R-I, is the head, okay? The top of your head, okay? A person's destiny, and usually in relation to the path they take, okay? The path they choose to take. You have a path that's created by the Most High, but there's also another broader path that human beings will choose to follow. So the Ori, okay? Now, I once interviewed an African shaman, and he told me that if you see mankind, okay, human beings from an astral plane, you don't see faces. You don't see faces at all, okay? All you see is the Ori on their heads, the Ori, that which is supposed to be their destiny, or their stars, okay? This is why Herod the magicians were able to see when Jesus was born, okay? Because from an astral plane, you can see who has a bigger Ori and who doesn't, okay? So, but but to really understand the African social construct, or Yoruba social and spiritual construct of how they see the Ori, you would have to use metaphoric language like the Bible to be able to understand what the Ori is. It's not just a head, okay? So, for example, if you look in Jeremiah 3-4, the Ori usually is that light that guides a person, okay? You don't see, but it's the light of their destiny, okay? So, like here it says, will you not, in Jeremiah 3-4, will you not from this time cry to me? My Father, you are the guide of my youth, okay? So there are people who don't have Yah as the guide of their youth. Meaning Yah is not their Ori, okay? Or El is not their Ori. So if you put Ori and El, becomes Ori El. You see that? And from Yoruba stories, they say that Elodumare is the one who gives the Ori. Now, if you remove Dumare and just put Ori and El, you get Ori El. See that? Okay. Now, Olori in Yoruba would mean a head, okay? The head of something. A queen, a princess, one of a higher birth, a royal head, a prefect. Okay? So, meaning Uriel can be a royal head of God, one of a noble birth of God. It could mean so many things, okay? So my sister opened me up to the meaning of this, Olori, and the connection between Uriel when I explained to her, because I was so stuck. And this is, the irony of life. Since, I'm the one who studies language, you would think that it would make sense to me like the minute I heard it. But it made more sense to my sister than it did to me. So, and when she explained to me the meaning of the name Olori, I was like, oh my God, it does make sense, because it actually means that you know, Uriel is somebody of a higher birth, okay? Now, I'm going to show you something in Kisii, okay? And this is the mystery, like I always say, the mystery of Bantu languages, okay? Now, having known that Or, Ur, and Har are rooted in the Hebrew, okay, an African language for 5, okay, root words, okay? In Ekegusii, it's Muliro, was rooted in ORR, okay? Ori is a person with the essence of air. It's not just a person, that's your being, okay? But when you say, if you say Ori, Ori, okay, that person, basically you're saying that very, very person. You say Ori, Ori, you repeat it twice, okay? So basically what you're doing is saying that essence man, that essence man. You see, Bantu language is so basic and so easy once you figure the formula, okay? Once you figure the code. So when you say Ori, Ori, you're not just saying that very, very person. That doesn't mean anything to an African. Ori, Ori is he who as the essence of God, he who as the essence of God. So basically, when you say that very, very person, you put an emphasis twice on the essence of God, okay? And when you say, of course, Oriya, it still ends with Ya, same place, you're still pointing, situating a place, and it ends with Ya, of course, the name of God. Now, if you're trying, say, you're referring to God as El, okay? So if you're trying to say that God, in Ekegusii, what you do is say, Eri, Eri. So what you do is, in essence, repeat. Okay, so as me and my sister were talking, you know, I had the slide for some time, but I had it pending for some months because I just was not sure about this route. I was sure, but I just wasn't sure all the way. Just something kept holding me back, okay? Just kept holding me back. So as one day, as I was thinking about the name Uriel, something occurred to me. A clear picture came to my head, okay? After looking for this answer for months, a clear picture came to my head, okay? So if you are Luhya especially, okay, get a pen and a paper. Okay, so so please write down the name Uriel, okay? And I'll show you how this just came to my head, boom, at once, okay? So Uriel, okay? I'm gonna give you 2 minutes to write it. Okay, now, with the name Uriel written down, now, take the letter M and add at the beginning. And then the letter O, add it at the end. Now, see what we get here. Right there. You get the name Muliro, okay? Sorry, you get the name Muliro, okay? Now, if you look in the Luhya tribe, and there was a prominent politician called Masinde Muliro, okay? The name Muliro means fire, fire, okay? Just taken from the name Uriel, add an M and an O, and you get Muliro. And then replace that R with an L, you get Muliro, fire, okay? Fire. Now, this is why Africans believe it's important what you name your child. It's very important what you name your child. You know, Masinde Muliro, okay, one of the first nominated, I believe, cabinet ministers in Kenya, but he was also one of the progenitors of multi-party system in Kenya, okay? Masinde Muliro was just like his name, fiery, okay? Fiery. And it changed the course of our nation until today. Okay, because his name was the fireman, fiery, okay? Now, this is even more interesting, okay? Now, once you get from the name Uriel and you add M and O, you get Muliro, which is Luhya or Baganda. It's Luhya and Baganda, okay? Meaning the fiery one, illuminating, okay? Then you will get the name Muriel, Celtic, Irish Celtic. The name Muriel means bright sea. You see the idea of brightness and light, okay? Now in Zulu, the word Muliro is fire, okay? You see, Muliro, Ulilo, Uriel, okay? Fire, a flame, alright? In Ekegusii, of course, it's Muliro, with the root being OR, just like I said. And then Yoruba will be Olori, okay? Queen, possessor, you know, owner. So by that right means Uriel is a prince, okay? A prince angel, showing that he's of high birth, okay? And the Yoruba Olori shows it, okay? And Oluru to be okay, meaning that he to be okay or to happen, okay? He controls the happenings of the sun and the moon and of the destinies of men in regard to that heavenly body, okay? Now, we go to the second part, again, using the Luhya Hebrew language, okay? The Mulembe nation, Mulembe, okay? Now, we know, of course, Ur means fire, and then Ya means God. Now, which would produce the name Uriah, okay? Or Uriah, or Uriah, as Americans would say, okay? So Uriah, okay, is the fiery one, okay? It means God is the light, the fiery one, Uriah, okay? In the Luhya language, and this is where the Luhya derive their name, guess what the word for fire is? Uluya, Uluya. So look at the name Uriah and Ulia. Look at the name Uriah or Uriah and the name Uluya, okay? Uluya means fire, fire or a flame, okay? So this name Uriel can be found in the Luhya language. So straight up, okay, straight up, Angel Uriel in Luhya is called Angel Muliro. I say it. First time on national TV, Angel Muliro. And even in English, Muriel is a big painting, okay? It's a huge painting. Why? Because when you see a mural, it also has the concept of light in it, a mural, okay? The concept of light. You don't see that mural without light. Everything is a symbol, right? So, Uluya, Uriah. Straight from the Bible. Okay? So, if you ask me, the angel that guides the Luhya, I'm telling you, it's not rocket science. It's not rocket science, because a tribe will manifest the power of its name, okay? So, if you ask me, the angel that protects the Luhya people, Angel Uriel or Angel Muliro, okay? So you're better off praying in Luhya than praying in English. You're better off praying in Kisii than praying in English, okay? Because that's where the original language came from. It's not rocket science. It's not rocket science, okay? Okay. Oh, now I gotta go. But next week we will discuss the angel Michael. Michael is super interesting, and of course the key encoder will be the Swahili language, but I'm going to use various languages, and we'll talk about Michael next week. Please don't forget to share, comment, like, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Yah bless. Thank you. God bless. Yes, how are you? Yes, where you are.